Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the GameCast NewsCast. I am Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula. Joining me this week, we have Sully back again.
Hello, 2 weeks in a row. How are you, Count?
I'm not too bad, thank you. We did miss last week because I'd been doing something. I just didn't have the time or the
Was
energy,
I on the previous one?
You were on the last one, I think.
Okay, I thought so.
I'm going to double check, because I might be wrong, but I think you were. Anyway, yes, Sully's joining me this week. Still no Max.
Indeed.
Max is still probably not going to be back for a while.
He's having some rough times lately. He's
Yeah,
getting his life sorted. I'm not doing much better, I'm going to be honest. I'm sitting here in a dressing gown, freezing my balls off. I broke my prescription glasses, so I'm wearing prescription sunnies in front of my computer while I drink a giant long neck of beer. So it's an odd scene, if you could see me right now.
Fabulous. Also, you weren't on the last one, you were on the one before. I had Sarah on last time.
Oh, good old
So
Sarah.
there we go. Anyway, I think we got confused because we recorded a pocket edition the other day on the whole Jessica Price incident, which you should totally go and watch.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yet
Anyway.
to be downvoted.
Exactly, surprisingly. It's on 77 views, which I'm not going to complain at either. Anyway, so, Sully, what have you been playing this week?
Look, I'm going to be honest. Not
That's a
much.
good start. Okay.
Nothing at all, actually, to be honest. I've just been balls deep in editing or recording, and then I've been working, and then I ducked up to Mount Barker to visit Kelsey through the week, so I feel like I've lost my week to just editing and recording. Still working on the Dragon Ball episode, so not gaming, but still editing the Dragon Ball episode of Pocket Edition.
How
that
much
ended up.
editing are you doing on this?
I'm halfway through the video side, so that's been my playing this week. That's what I've been dabbling in. It's going to be a fun episode, I think. We're probably going to get copyright striked. Probably, I don't know.
More than likely.
We'll probably get 10 copyright infringements, but we'll see how we go. It's going to be a fun app. And I just find it hilarious that it's been taking so long that we just decided to record something else and leapfrog over it because it's just taking me that long.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think the subject that we recorded was a little bit more time sensitive than Dragon Ball.
Absolutely. I mean, the only time sensitive piece of information in that Dragon Ball episode was the reveal of the movie poster, which is now significantly out of date because we've just had the trailer drop. So
I can say, even by the point of
that's exactly the whole point of that episode was to talk about new super information and tack on all of our other little bits and pieces, and now it's just out the window. But who gives a fuck? It's gonna be a fun episode. We give our top fives of Dragon Ball moments.
Okay, how long is the episode, by the way?
Got it down to an hour and 16. So
hell.
in the episode, we cover all of the super news bar the trailer, where the super series is going at the moment, why it's on hiatus, what we think of the super series so far. Mark covers literally everything video game related that he's passionate about for the entire franchise. All the way back to, even brings up Budokai, the fighting series back on
Budokai
the PS2.
3.
So he gets right into that. Then we kind of end the episode with our top 5 memorable moments from all things Dragon Ball. And we also cover the spin-off fan series Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's absolutely hilarious. It's the best thing ever. We even talk about some spin-off manga, being Yamcha Reborn. We really go down the Dragon Ball rabbit hole. So
clearly,
it's great. Good episode. What? Look, near future, it's coming, I promise.
So there we go then. That is what Sully has been playing this week.
What have you been playing, Count? Actual video games, I hope.
I've been playing actual video games. I've got 2 weeks worth of stuff to cover now as well. I got paid the other day, so I decided to buy Jurassic World Evolution, which is it's made by the Planet Coaster guys, and you're making a Jurassic World park.
Oh, yes. I know this one. Yeah, that looked really cool.
It is pretty cool.
I've been wanting to pick that up. It's a little bit pricey for me at the moment.
I know that it is pricey. It's I bought the £50 version, which had the extra dinosaurs in it, but I couldn't really resist it because you can do fun things with that. My only issue that I'm having with it is that you can't play a sandbox map until you've actually like played through the 5-story island campaign. On the plus side, though, Jeff Goldblum is in it, so it's fine.
Did you hear about the giant Jeff Goldblum statue?
Yes, I did.
On your doorstep.
It's so funny. It's so stupid. It's not like it's in the wrong month, in the wrong country, in the wrong city, in the wrong country.
Yeah, hasn't the movie come and gone there already as well?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's like not even you can't even call it. It's like a month out from when the original Jurassic Park was released, so you can't even say it's a celebration of that.
No, it's just for shits and gigs.
Someone's just put a Jeff Goldblum statue in London, and it's fucking hilarious. I love it.
So whereabouts is it exactly? In London?
Jeff, let's Google this. Jeff Goldblum's London. Well, it's not far away from Tower Bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in a park next to Tower Bridge, or like a sort of a communal area, anyway.
Very nice.
And it's the bit from you know which bit it is, that the scene where he's
Yeah, I know the exact scene. It's great. He's got his shirt undone, nips on show. Yeah, that's good. Hopefully we can
Jeff
put that on
Goldblum
screen.
Nips are the best thing. I will put that on screen.
Larger than life.
Indeed.
Oh, so good.
Oh,
Anyhow.
God. So I've been playing a bit of that. Yes. Let's get back to it, yeah. It's got Jeff Goldblum in it. It's got more narration than lines that he had in the new film, which is quite funny. What else have I been playing then apart from that? I've got no other real things to talk about. I've only played a couple of hours of it, so I'll get back to you on that. I've been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler as well. I'm about 7 or so hours into that. I'm really enjoying it, actually. I think it's really just gorgeous, and I'm really enjoying the combat. I'm very
turn-based?
It's turn-based, and I'm very Marmite on turn-based. I either really enjoy a particular system or I really don't. And this one has got me. It's really well done. So each monster in the game, each type of monster, has a particular set of vulnerabilities. Like there's usually sort of between 3 and 5 vulnerabilities per monster. And if they also have shield points, so it's usually sort of between 1 and sort of 3 is the standard shield point value. And if they get attacked with something that they're vulnerable to, they'll lose a shield point. So once they've lost all their shield points, they'll then get stunned for a turn, so they can't attack. And then you can attack them with anything without having the damage reduced, as opposed to just the vulnerabilities. So it creates a really nice sort of element of strategy of going, if I use this character to attack these, this enemy or these enemies, then this will happen, and then I really sort of play around with the strategy, and it's also pretty easy to mess up. So,
yeah, sounds good.
I've not died yet in it, so there's that. I've had a couple of characters faint, but I've revived them, and items are sort of plentiful. So, in that sense of difficulty, it's fine. But in actual sort of when you get to the bosses in particular, it is actually a bit of a slog to do it. You're looking at a sort of 15 to 20 minute fight, roughly, to defeat a boss. Yeah, they are bitches to defeat.
That's a grind.
Yeah, it's a grind, but at the same time, it's so rewarding once you've done it. It's just like, yes! But then I found one enemy I think the end of my last play session. It was just a random boar that I just found in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, there's no sort of special place or anything. This boar was a fucking tank out of nowhere. It's not even in, because each area has a sort of danger level, which is sort of the average level of the enemies. So if you go into a place too high, it'll tell you and you'll be like, oh yeah, wait, I can just go somewhere else and come back later. But this boar was in a level 11 danger area, which is about right for me. And this thing took about 5 minutes to kill for no reason.
Nice. Does that pop-up book aesthetic kind of hold true? Like, or was that
I think it does.
Okay.
It holds to me. Like, anytime I've seen someone criticize the visuals, it's of something so nitpicky that I honestly I wouldn't have known it was there unless I was shown.
What can you even nitpick about, like, a visual style?
I can understand some people not liking the particular visual style. That makes sense to me. I get that. But I've seen some people saying, like, one thing I saw was the 2D sprites aren't anti-aliased. I'm not a big fan of anti-aliased 2D sprites anyway. Just put that out there. So then you have the re-release of Chrono Trigger on mobile and PC had anti-aliased sprites, and they looked like shit.
So what does that actually cause? Like, obviously...
So anti-aliasing it's a smoothing type of thing.
To smooth the edges, like jaggers and stuff.
But because it's sort of 2D pixel sprites, anti-aliasing those doesn't make it look very good.
You lose, like, definition or something?
Yeah, you really do. It's not fun. So yeah, there's that. And then one of the things was, in combat, there's an ever so slight waver on the one character whose turn it is to fight. And it's like, you have to either, if you're holding it in handheld, you have to put your face so close to the screen that it's, like, almost indistinguishable, like it hurts your eyes. Jeez. Or, the way I actually saw it, I connected the Switch to my TV and then stood about 5 centimeters from my television, and then I could see what they were talking about. And I was just like, wow, goodness me, this is affecting my enjoyment of this game so much.
In general, though, the Switch, I've noticed from what I've played, there's not a lot of anti-aliasing happening on that system, at least on the titles I've played.
I mean, anti-aliasing itself is a bit of a
system
resource hog. Yeah. So I get that, because, the Switch, well, as a handheld console, it's very powerful. When you compare it to, like, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, it's not very powerful, but it doesn't need to be. So...
It does what's asked of it.
Exactly. It's not something that's ever bothered me, and any visual criticism I've seen for this game outside of I don't like this particular visual style is just ridiculous. I've even seen some people with the mindset of it's got 2D graphics, so it's got sprites. Sprites are shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, literally. There's probably the sort of they'll only accept hyper-realistic 3D graphics.
Yeah, like that stigma attached to, like, it's an old, like, way of presenting 3D. But that's the whole point.
It's like the stereotypical person that the AAA industry thinks all gamers are. That's all they're after. That's what that person is.
Yeah. So just a little side note, though, it's scarily it's scary how close the Switch is to being almost capable of being that system. Like, you see Doom and Wolfenstein on there, and how close like those games are to being comparable to.
That's the thing. They're not. Yeah, they're just a slight graphical downgrade.
Yeah, and the FPS is like kind of capped. Yeah, it's close. It's so close. It's freaky.
I know, it's brilliant. It's like Rocket League, because I did a review of that, didn't I, on the channel? And it's just like, this is Rocket League, it's just got a slight graphical downgrade.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
It's scary, man. Like, I can't wait for, like, the Switch Pro in, like, a few years or something like that. Or imagine if they put, like, a Tegra 2 in this system. Like, whoa! Could you imagine? I'd pay the extra $100 for that.
Yeah, I think I would as well. So yeah, that's Octopath Traveler. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. One more thing I'll mention then, or two more little things. I bought Slay the Spire on PC the other day.
Nice.
I'm really enjoying that, actually. It's a turn-based deck building roguelike strategy. It's a bit all over the place in terms of what it is, but what it ends up with, like the sum of everything, is really fun. Like, if you're a fan of deck building games, which I am, then this game is just wonderful, and it's got the sort of the sort of constant difficulty. It's difficult, but it's fair difficulty.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of deck building games. I think the most I've dabbled in is probably Hearthstone, which is fun.
One that I would technically Hearthstone isn't a deck building game. A deck building game means something very specific. It means you're playing. It's a card game where you start with a very limited pool of cards, but as the game progresses, you gain more cards.
Oh, so you pick the cards up in that given game.
In the game, yeah, exactly.
Ah, gotcha. All
right. One that I would recommend to you that you can play at least the first bit of it for free it's called Star Realms. You can get it on either PC or on your phone. I've played quite a bit of that. That's quite a decent deck building game.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, Slay the Spire is really fun. I'm really enjoying that. And yesterday I picked up a really fun puzzle game which has been published by Double Fine called Gnog, G-N-O-G.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's published by Double Fine, so that'll tell you at least
it's got to be good.
It's one of those really sort of obscure puzzle games where you're just going, what the fuck is going on? And you basically just have to work out how to get to the next step and how to sort of go through things. And it basically, it's pretty fun. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it's fun. I might actually do a stream or something of it soon.
Nice.
I think that about wraps up what I've been playing then.
More than me, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, I've been making an effort to get through quite a few games recently.
Yeah, I think
I did actually. Now you can go.
I was just gonna say, I think my next one I pick up, which we spoke about before we started recording, is Hollow Knight for the Switch.
Yes,
keen to get on that, which we'll be talking about.
We will be talking about that, and I did actually buy Enter the Gungeon again on the Switch because I had
that's another one.
Because one, it was half price anyway, and two, I had quite a few of the weird Switch, the Nintendo loyalty coins. So nice. I got it for £2 odd.
Nice.
So
nice.
I was just like, I'm not gonna complain at £2 odd for Enter the Gungeon on Switch. Played it this morning. Played it last night.
I hope it's still up, because I'll pick that up.
Yeah, it's still pretty damn good. I'm enjoying it very much.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Get ready for rodents.
Get ready for what?
Rodents? Mammals?
Oh,
Small
rodents.
Mammals. Rodents.
I see. Rodents. Yes. Fuck it. That'll be the start. Why not? There we go. That's the start of that topic. Overwatch. Overwatch is a game that came out fucking ages ago.
A couple years ago now. It's getting on.
I think it was like 2015 or something.
Dude, do you remember Battleborn? Right? When you compare it in the same kind of timeline as Battleborn, they launched at the same time. Battleborn seems so long ago. I think they
launched in the same week. It was May 2016, so it's just over 2 years old. Yeah, they launched in the same week. Battleborn did it intentionally to try and undercut Overwatch.
Oh, well, I mean...
Can
not
I tell
a mistake.
You a little... Yeah. I mean, can I tell you a little story?
Yeah,
this was before Battleborn launched, and this was the point where I knew which out of the two games would win this battle, because we'd know that they were both coming out, and we were like, okay, well, which one's going to be the one that people will play? So, you know the Chain game in the UK?
I've mentioned it
a few times, yeah. They don't just sell games, they sell a lot of gaming paraphernalia as well. They do cards and just shit. Not a huge fan of the chain, but anyway, I was in there a good month or two before Battleborn launched, and they were really hyping the game up at the time. This was, it's Blizzard, so they hype up their game. Oh, it wasn't Blizzard. Sorry, Gearbox.
Gearbox. In its defense, it had a lot of cool stuff going for it. Like its animated trailers and stuff are super cool.
I'll give it that. It had everything there, but it just, it didn't end up going very well. So anyway, I was in game, and I think I was buying some Pokemon cards at the time, and took them up to the till, and the guy behind the till produced a box full of Battleborn trading cards, and said, "Do you just want to take this box because we can't get rid of them?"
I think I heard a similar story from someone else. It might have been Mark, or it was somebody here. Oh no. That's terrible, man.
It was like a box of about nearly 100 packs of these stupid Battleborn cards. I was just like, okay, sure, why not?
Fuck it, why not? Have you still got them?
No, they were in the bin.
Oh, I would have taken one just for
I chucked them away after about 6 months of being like,
after you realised you couldn't sell them.
Yeah, you watch in 50 years or whatever, they'll be worth a packet because people are like, oh, Battleborn! I loved that game. That was an unsung classic.
You know what though? In all seriousness, before we jump into the Overwatch topic, Battleborn was close. I think it was not a bad game. It had a lot of really cool things going for it. It had a lot of cool aesthetics. It had a story mode sort of as well, which is something I believe Overwatch doesn't have. It just fell short on the most critical aspect of the game, being the multiplayer. They tried to do some kind of more of a MOBA like thing when you got your lanes and you're fighting the minions. The method that
they went for wasn't.
It should have all been about versing the heroes, not lane control and fighting minions. If they just nailed that, it would have been awesome.
I also think that if they'd... I believe they sort of semi-rushed it out the door to be coming out slightly before Overwatch. I believe if they'd just given it another couple of months, then it might have gone so much better for them. But as it stands, they launched it, it flopped at launch, then they went free-to-play, and it was still making no money, and it got shut down. I believe it's now shut down.
Oh yeah, no, they shut it down donkeys ago, I think.
Yeah.
Did you play it or buy it?
No.
Okay, yeah, see, I bought it on PS4. I actually quite enjoyed playing that first week with my buddies. Mostly doing the campaign stuff, because it's kind of like that whole PvE kind of element that we loved just tackling, and you could ramp up the difficulty a lot. That was a lot of fun. We barely touched the multiplayer because it was shit. But unfortunately, once we burnt through that multiplayer kind of PvE stuff, we're all done.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the game's not actually dead. You can still buy it, even though it costs you about £5 to buy it, roughly. But there's no development on the game other than basic server maintenance.
I remember hearing a long time ago, this might have even been before the year mark of the game even having been out and available, that they were ceasing support for the game. It was ages ago.
Yeah, this was September 2017 that they did this. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Anyway, let's stop talking about a game that went out of commission over a year, nearly a year ago, and let's start talking about Overwatch, because they've announced their new hero. Yes, hamsters in mechs.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, their new hero is a hamster, because reasons. Go fucking figure.
Our live listener will love this. She's a big Overwatch player.
Okay. Well, bigger Overwatch player than me, then I own the game, but I
don't even own it.
I don't know, it didn't click yet, so I might come back to it. But yeah, I remember one funny theory about this being that they're trying to make a hero that people can't make Rule 34 of.
What's that?
Oh, you're so innocent.
I've not dabbled in Overwatch at all. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I blew my MOBA load on Battleborn.
Yeah, but do you not know what Rule 34 is?
No, it reminds me of Star Wars, where they killed all the Jedi.
That's Order 66.
That's as close as I'm getting.
It's definitely not that. It's basically... The phrase that goes with Rule 34 is, if it exists, there is porn of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this was one of the things when Overwatch first came out. There were so many people making Rule 34 porn of it. Even before it had come out, they were making this stuff of all the characters, like especially Tracer.
I have seen this stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And so someone came up with the theory, is like they made this character so that people wouldn't do Rule 34 of it. And guess what? They were
did?
wrong. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the internet.
Oh, God,
There is indeed Rule 34 of a hamster.
Why is it called Rule 34?
I don't know. It's just sort of like Rule 34 of the internet. If it exists, there is porn of it. And so it's just a sort of an abbreviation of that statement.
All right.
Yeah.
Just
weird, man.
I just don't know. I'm being just laughed at by you and at Kelsey, our live listener, as well. She obviously knew what it was.
That is, yeah. I'm very surprised you didn't know that, because that's a very common bit of internet parlance.
No idea at all.
Oh, poor innocent
Anywho.
Sully.
Just been too busy editing my Dragonblight, man. Just under a rock.
Yeah. Anyway, so the reveal was put on the Overwatch Twitter account recently, and it's basically just a hamster in a giant mech suit that looks a little bit like a droideka from Star Wars.
Interesting.
So the droideka is the one that can sort of roll itself up into a circle and roll around.
Oh, that's cool. Sonic the Hedgehog mode.
Yeah, it was pretty Sonic the Hedgehog mode. The hero himself is called, his actual name is Hammond the Hamster. And, but his hero name is Wrecking Ball.
Can it actually do damage in its ball mode?
I don't know. I've not checked into it that much. Oh god, it actually squeaks like a hamster. That's weird. Anyway,
thinking of the porn.
Oh god. You sick bastard.
Oh man. And so 10 minutes after it was posted on Twitter, we had porn on, probably, I don't know.
More than likely.
Porn art go.
Yeah.
Ask Kelsey that one. She's done porn art for a commission. Throw
Fun.
her under the bus.
Okay. Anyway, so we've got the hamster hero, and a lot of people, a surprising amount of people, have had a little bit of an issue with this.
Oh.
And there's a specific reason for this, and it's not the one you think it is. So there was a hero design from the early days of Overwatch. I think this was before the game had come out, and it was for a hero called Jetpack Cat. And let's be honest, that's a very self-explanatory hero. It's a cat in a jetpack. And yeah, that was dropped by Blizzard before Overwatch was released for being too wacky. And yet...
Yeah. We have a hamster.
And yet a hamster inside a circular mech is not too wacky.
I'm channeling a very specific thing from these hamsters in bowls and jetpack cats. I just can't put my finger on it. I'm not sure if it's a game or something else. I don't know. I'll come back to it if I remember it.
Banjo-Kazooie?
No. Something very specific. It is a game, I think. I don't know. I'm sure somebody knows down in the comments, but
there was a Tom and Jerry game on the PS2.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting like some kind of weird Space Jam vibe or something.
It was called Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers. I used to have it.
That sounds pretty cool.
It was like a 3D beat 'em up, and you had like small themed levels, and you could play in that. And I'm probably just gonna go and buy that from Amazon.
Maybe it's just Sonic. I might be tripping out on Sonic, thinking of Tails.
Maybe. I am now literally going to try and see how much Tom and Jerry is on Amazon. Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers on Amazon is currently... Oh, it's only £1.50. Not bad. I'll take that. Anyway. Let's go back to Overwatch.
Was there any defense for this criticism regarding the hamster in the bowl in relation to the cat? Oh, right.
To be fair, at this point in their life, Blizzard don't have to defend themselves because they're at the sort of like really height of their popularity stage where they can just go, fuck you, we do what we want.
Exactly. Why shouldn't they?
I mean, there's many reasons why they shouldn't, because of hubris.
Rule 34.
Let's just bring you back down to earth there. Companies should always have a bit of hubris, and they should always be very mindful. Cough, Sony! Cough! What?
I don't know. Just let them have their fun.
Let them have their fun and then release their weird fucking hamster hero.
Exactly. If you're going to do the hamster, though, now you have to do the cat.
They have to. Like, it'd be weird if they didn't. And yeah, so they're launching the hamster on the 24th of July, and that'll be that's 4 days from when we're recording. So if you want to play as a hamster and a droidica in Overwatch, then you're a bit weird, and that's a very specific thing to want, but now you can do it. Let's just move on to the next topic. Hollow Knight. We promised we'd get back to this game. And basically, I mean, this isn't a big topic, but it's pretty cool because overall, Hollow Knight is probably one of the best supported games of the last few years, because on the 23rd of August, Hollow Knight will receive its Gods and Glory DLC pack, and this is going to be the fourth and final free content pack for the game. They have supported this game for a good
couple of years now, isn't it?
Good year and a half. So yeah, a good sort of 18 months, because it was released February last year, of actual free content for the game, which is really cool. I love that. That amazes me.
It's healthy. Yeah. And it's available almost everywhere now, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's also available on Switch, which is Sully is probably going to use to buy it, and I still haven't played it again, and I'm probably going to actually do that after this is finished now. Yeah, I think if you don't own Hollow Knight, you need to at this point. I know. I'm actually talking to you while I'm saying this as well. You need to own Hollow Knight because it is genuinely just a gorgeous game. It's wonderful.
It's pretty cheap as well.
I think it's about that expensive.
No, I think it's like 15 AUD, which is like that's nothing for a
exactly.
digital
I think it's
title.
£10 in this country. So yeah, it's so cheap.
For the people that haven't played Hollow Knight, could you give us a quick rundown? I'm still a little bit hazy on what it is. I know it's kind of like a Metroidvania-esque kind of dungeon crawler of sorts with boss fights and stuff. The visual aesthetic looks amazing. I'm sold on that alone. But what exactly is in these DLC packs?
So the largest, I think the first expansion pack was called the Grim Troop, and it basically included a load of new music for the game. Because, I mean, the soundtrack's great as it is, but, you got even more now. New NPCs to the game. So, new...
That's cool.
Not enemies, but actual sort of characters you can talk to. And a new set of quests to go with them. I don't think the map was expanded, necessarily. I might be wrong. I think there's a small addition to the map in the Grim Troop. In the Grim Troop bit. Yes, they added a new quest line and some new boss fights in the Grim Troop one. So basically, they just add more stuff to the game, which is what you need to do. that's the best thing to do with these. So they're not going over the top with these content expansions, but they are significant expansions.
So is it one consistent world map that they're building onto?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's sort of just one big world map. And it's split up into areas, and when you're exploring the game for the first time and you're going around the areas, you don't have a map immediately.
Yeah.
When you go into each new area, you have to find the map guy and pay him money to unlock the map of that area. And then, so even then though, the map that he gives you isn't the whole map of that area, but once you have what he's written of that area, everything you go through aside from that then gets filled in as you go, which is a slightly odd map system, and a few people aren't a huge fan of it, but I don't mind it. I think it's quite interesting, because then you sort of, the first time you're in a new area, you really are sort of in the dark, and you're just going, oh shit, where am I? What am I doing? How far away from the last place that I knew am I? But then as you go along, you can find... They're called... They're sort of bug stations. That's basically like fast travel points. And you've got... It's like a huge beetle that you could travel on the back of to go to another one of these stations.
All right, really... I've seen that thing and I've always wondered, what the fuck is that? And I'm glad I finally know.
It's a weird beetle fast travel system. Isn't that obvious?
Oh, no.
But yeah, it's gorgeous, it's wonderful, and it's also pretty punishingly difficult.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You don't have a lot of health. You can regenerate some of your health, but the pool of stuff you use to regenerate your health is, one, limited, and two, also tied to some of the other powers that you have. Like, you can do some spell type things, but they take from the same pool as your healing thing, but you get that back by killing things. So it's quite well balanced in that sense. Like, you never feel overpowered for an area. You always feel there's always a bit of an element of you need to be careful.
Yep. So, like, what particular genre would Hollow Knight fall into? Like, if you're a fan of the Metroidvania series, I've forgotten what it's called now. Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ori and the Blind Forest type thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a Metroidvania.
Particularly, you probably really enjoy Hollow Knight.
If you enjoy Metroidvanias in general, if that's your pet genre, then you'll definitely love Hollow Knight, and I'd be very surprised if you didn't already have it. But in terms of theme, if we're going thematically, it's quite close to Ori and the Blind Forest. It's not a happy-go-lucky type thing. It's not like your Headlander where it's sort of comedy-focused and everything. It's very somber. To be honest, I did a written review of this when it came out on another site, and I compared it at the time. It was very Dark Souls in its themes and in the way it brings across story, because it's very sort of somber and, the world's very forbidding, and you just feel like a little cog in it. You're not this big hero in the world. You're just some fuck bumbling through it, trying to make your way through a once brilliant, now abandoned world. And
I dig it.
Like all this, like there's no sort of big exposition dumps. There's no like the story of the world isn't tied to you. It's just sort of you learn it by inference and just things in the background. It's really well done. So if you like that kind of storytelling and world building as well, then this game is definitely up your alley.
Yeah, I'm keen. So how much of the DLC have you chipped through?
Not a huge amount yet. I've
okay.
not been able to get around to it because
I'm just curious, like how much time investment is this game now with like 4 DLC packs? Like, and considering it's free as well, and the game's only like $15, ish dollars depending where you live, that's a lot of value. I think
if you want to go go ham on it and 100% everything and see every little thing, then you're looking at a sort of 50 to 60 hour investment, maybe.
That's pretty good for a $15 game.
And I've only played 8 hours of it, and I felt like I got my money's worth. So
yeah, nice. Check it out, everyone. Me included.
Indeed. Also, there's a limited edition vinyl of the music from the new expansion coming out as well.
Oh, that's what I've been waiting for. That's why I haven't picked it up on Switch. I want a physical release.
You want just like interesting. I'm really a big fan of interesting, like collector's things when it comes to games.
I have quite a few little interesting kind of indie title collector boxes. One of them, the Super Meat Boy box, it's just this cube box, but it's cute as fuck and it's got a lot of cool shit in it.
Oh, that's cute.
Give me more of that. Give me more. That's what I've been waiting for, but I don't think we're getting one for Hollow Knight. I think it's digital only for the Switch, that is, which is really disappointing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really a big fan of like these kinds of things, and this game has done everything right to the best of my knowledge. Also, I've got myself looking at the you remember the Undertale figurines that they brought out? Got myself looking at them again. I really want them because they're just gorgeous. They are about £50.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah, they're about $100 Australian dollars. They're a lot of money, but
that's significant.
They are really nice though. And that's for the set of 5. You get the player character, Papyrus, Sans, Toriel, and Lesser Dog.
Lesser Dog.
Yeah. Also, there's some really cool Undertale shirts that I just found. Go and play Undertale if you haven't, because that's a wonderful game.
Yeah, I've not played that either.
You need to play Undertale. It is the best thing.
Dude, there's a lot I need to play.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, Hollow Knight is getting its last expansion very, very soon. Just over a month away. And you get it for free because they're a really good developer. Thank you very much, Team Cherry, for being great people. And very much looking forward to that. And just seeing what else it has to offer. And let's move on to another story. Good news if you hate pre-orders, which I kind of do. I'm not a fan.
You do? Just on principle?
Not a fan of pre-orders. I'm not a fan of, like, paying for the game before I even know if it's any good.
The quality? Yeah.
Exactly.
Pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, but the AAA industry, they love their pre-orders, I mean, you can pre-order games for, like, months in advance. You don't even have to remotely think about it.
Yeah, I bet I can pre-order Halo 6 right now.
More than likely. I'm actually going to look at that, see if you can.
All we've had is an in-engine teaser. That was it.
Oh, not yet, actually. I'm surprised that we can't. I'm going to quickly check it on Amazon because they always seem to have. So the Halo Infinite has its listing up, but you can't.
I can pre-order it.
Oh, you can pre-order it?
I can pre-order at EB Games Australia.
Yeah, but EB EB Games is a shit company, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, shit companies are the ones doing the shitty pre-orders.
This is true. Anyway, so, not a fan of pre-orders, as I've mentioned. And if you live in Germany, which I don't think any of us do,
Not to the best of my knowledge.
No, we were. Let's cut that bit. Germany has now brought in a very, very lovely piece of legislation, in my opinion, that means you cannot have any vague pre-order release dates on listings online. So, for instance, if you have pre-order now, coming soon, available soon, or anything like that, you can't have that anymore. You have to have, quote, the latest date by which the product will be delivered, or not offer a pre-order, full stop.
So it basically means that when we have to be decided dates when a game's announced, unless the developer has specified a ship date, basically we can't pre-order the game, pretty much.
Yeah. I believe, actually, in a weird instance of Steam being ahead of the curve on this, I believe they have the same thing.
Okay.
Because I've been looking, I posted in the news chat yesterday, 2 Point Hospital, which is like a modern update of Theme Hospital from years ago that I'm really looking forward to. That has been, it's had a Steam page for ages, but it's not had a release date yet. I think it's just had when it's ready on the release date, and you couldn't pre-order it. But now that they actually have a release date, you can pre-order it.
Well, it just seems safe, doesn't it? Especially from a Steam perspective. Like, they have so many games going through. Could you imagine taking people's money for games before, you have a release date? Because I feel like
when it's going to come out.
Yeah, so many games on Steam, I'm sure, just go up and just never release, just go under and disappear.
Yeah. So, the Court of Munich said about this that, quote, customers should know when they can expect a delivery after a pre-order because, as we said, that's, you don't want to be taking people's money with the vague promise of something coming out at some point.
Yeah.
And so the reason that this has come about was because Media Market, which was a German retailer, they had a suit brought against them. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, yeah, consumer protection claim made against them over the pre-order offer for the Samsung Galaxy S6 in 2016. So, this actual piece of legislation doesn't just apply to video games. This is a blanket piece of legislation. So, it's any digital product, or physical product, in fact, in Germany, now cannot be sold without any sort of release date. Good.
All right. Yeah, very nice. It's going to change nothing really from like a from a business perspective.
Yeah, I mean, from a consumer perspective, it's just going to be a bit nicer for us because then we're going to know when things are actually releasing.
I mean, I feel like you'd walk into this like they're not even going to have cases up. For coming soon pre-order now, you're just going to see what is available with release dates everywhere you look, which would be kind of refreshing.
This is coming in October pre-order now. You're not just going to have coming 2019.
Yeah, sometime, if that, or coming soon. Because like when I walk into EB Games here, there's usually like a new section for like PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. And it's all
coming soon stuff though, isn't it? It's not like...
Yeah, it's literally a pre-order section and it all says coming soon and maybe a couple of the cases have dates.
Yeah.
And I've walked in like after announcements, like the day after announcements, like immediately after press conferences at E3. And these things are already available for pre-order.
You can pre-order this now. Pre-order it. Give us money.
When's it coming? Like, I think some of the stuff, at best, you have the year.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's not great, is it?
No, they just want to lock you in and take your money all the time.
Pretty much. The problem is as well, a lot of companies nowadays, especially with digital pre-orders, they don't take your money up front. They lock you into a pre-order and then
charge you to your card.
They take it out at the time, like when the thing actually comes out. And if you got these sort of vague things that's coming soon, you might just forget about it. You pre-ordered this thing, and then some point down the line, while you've got the thing and then you've had the money taken out of your account, but you might be in a situation where you can't afford it. I know that's an extreme example, but it could happen.
It's possible, but like, what's the point? Like, who cares? It's a fucking digital copy. Like, why are we... I get preloading. I absolutely get preloading for digital games.
That makes a bit more sense.
Some...
You go, look,
they're massive.
You've got a slow internet connection. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But pre-ordering digital copies, they're not going to run out of copies. Why are you in such a rush to give them your money? Just wait till the game goes live and buy it then.
Exactly. You'd think that'd be the
And it's the same for physical copies as well. It's the same. No matter what they tell you, it's exactly the same. The only thing you're missing out back in the day, right? If I wanted to, like, this is serious, if I wanted to secure a copy of like Halo 2 or Halo 3, being the popularity of those games back then, when, print copies were not readily available, like, by the bucket load flowing out of these EB game stores. That's for GameStop, by the way, for our American listeners. Yeah. Literally the same company. You'd have to pre-order. Like, back then, I would pre-order my games because if you missed out and you didn't pre-order the big titles, I have had to wait like 1 or 2 weeks till they'd get them back in stock. Like, we'd run out of games here, or copies of certain games here when they first launched. But that's just not an issue anymore. Like, ever. Like, all the stores, and there's so much competition now, there's always plenty of copies. You do not need to pre-order games. Just don't give your money away before you need to. Wait for the reviews.
Wait for reviews.
Then give them your money. The only incentive, and this is why we see this now, the only incentive to pre-order games now is all your pre-order bonuses, like your little digital codes for fucking weapon skins and shit. Yes, that is... At the end of the day,
that's what the AAA industries had to do to make pre-ordering a more valuable prospect. Is to
to make sense.
Just basically hold parts of the game hostage in some cases.
Absolutely, and you also see that as well because it's so competitive between physical stores as well. They all have their own kind of exclusive pre-order bonuses because there isn't a reason to pre-order games. There's no real legitimate reason. Like, no one's going to run out. Your country's not going to run out of a copy of Destiny 2. It's just...
Why the fuck would you want it anyway?
I don't know. They're definitely not going to run out of that. Or Mario
Yeah, they're
Odyssey,
selling for
Zelda.
£10 now in this country.
That's ridiculous.
I find that fucking hysterical.
How many people pre-ordered that game, Count? Fuckloads.
Far too... The Destiny hype train knows no bounds, don't forget.
It's still going. It's probably still going.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
So, yeah.
It's just, I find it silly. It's all silly pre-orders.
It is very silly. Anyway, so this is a very good... It's a good measure anyway. It's a good thing to start doing. And while this is only in Germany for now, I'm very much hoping that a lot of countries see this kind of legislation and go, oh yes, that's not very consumer friendly, and then bring in these sort of pro-consumer bits of legislation, because we need more of that. I know, because we've got to a point, I'm going to sound like one of those fucking weird anti-capitalist people, we've got to a point in late capitalism where the companies and corporations are just seeing what they can get away with now with the consumer, and we need to, at some point, tell them that, no, you can't do this.
I honestly feel like consumer electronics to a certain degree, but the video game industry especially, I feel like is very bad for this. Like, I feel like we get taken for a ride a lot more than what we should.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's the world we live in, and hopefully, though, this will hopefully make a little dent in that area. And with that, let's move on to the final story that I quite find very funny.
Just one final point before we move on, Count. Just one little final point. Do you think, right, how important do you think in terms of cash flow and for the businesses like GameStop and EB Games or the brick and mortar stores that rely solely on video game sales, how much do you think this could affect them? Because we already know these stores are in trouble as is. I don't know if you've been paying attention to GameStop in the States, but they're losing money hand over fist year after year after year. If this was to translate, this legislation was to translate into the US market, could you see that like negatively impacting GameStop to a point where they're in dire straits?
It may do, but I believe in the case of GameStop, that will be more a case of their business practices not being up to snuff to deal with it.
Adaptable to transition into the digital world.
Because when it was leaked a few years ago that GameStop had its, quote, 4 pillars, and that was console sales, pre-orders, pre-owned, and new games. And they had to, they had quotas of each thing, and they had to try and balance these four, all that kind of thing. When this was revealed, you look at it and you go, that's a really shit business model. And there's a reason they're losing money, is because they've got this stupid business model that they're trying to cling on to, and it's just not viable, especially if legislation like this gets brought in the end.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's why I brought it up, because I know pre-orders is so important to their business model.
I think at the end of the day, you have to adapt to survive. Like, you know, it's even in the business world, it's a very dog-eat-dog world. You have to change with the times. That's why a lot of the high street retail stuff is dying, is because they didn't adapt in time. You have all the online retail stuff now taking over because it got ahead of the trend.
Yeah, fun fact, we're down to our last Blockbuster store now.
Yeah, there's only one left in America somewhere.
One left. One. I think we've actually still got some over here, funnily enough.
Well, that sounds about right, considering you're living about 10 years behind the rest of the world in Australia.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking in regards to the pre-order legislation. I'm like, nope, my government won't do that.
Not going to happen there, no.
No.
They're still trying to censor video games, let alone anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well. Well, you know, in about 5 years, you might have loot box legislation, and then, in another 10, you might have to pre-order.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, that's that. Pre-orders are being regulated in Germany, and hopefully soon they'll be regulated in other countries. And let's bring it home with the final, very amusing story of the show. Middle-earth: Shadow of War. A game that's got quite a bit of negative press when it came out, to put it
Tell
mildly.
us why, Count.
I wonder why it got negative press. I don't know. So, there were quite a lot of loot boxes and microtransactions in Shadow of War. Those loot boxes very much undermined the Nemesis system in the game, which was basically that was the series' USP, was the Nemesis system. And, Warner Brothers tried for a time to make it sound like, no, this isn't undermining the Nemesis system. This isn't undermining the mechanics of the game. They're here for a really good reason. We promise. We're not trying to fleece you out of the money. We're good people, says the little says the little finger puppet at the end of the tooth of a big fucking mouth. So, they lied, basically. And a few months ago, the loot boxes specifically were removed from Shadow of War due to the backlash from this and games like Star Wars Battlefront 2. Because they'd got all the money they were ever going to get out of the loot boxes, and keeping them in any further would just be more negative PR. Now...
Dude, I can't believe those two games.
I know.
Just the end of last year and early this year, like, holy shit, talk about a way to bury your game.
I know, it's literally just, it's the AAA industry showing their hand. It's been coming into your house, shitting all over the floor, and then saying, "Oh, it wasn't me, that didn't happen." It really is.
Holy shit, especially Battlefront 2. Destiny
Battlefront
2.
2 was probably... Yeah, they were probably the most
you learnt
egregious
nothing?
examples of this. Well,
Yep.
you know, it's the AAA industry. They're not going to learn anything, and you shouldn't expect them to.
Wow.
So, a new update then has come out for Shadow of War, which completely removes the microtransactions and the marketplace with that stupid fucking orc that I hate. I don't like him, he's a dick.
Oh, please put him up on screen.
Yeah. Oh dear, he's an utter arsehole that shouldn't exist. And so this has been completely removed now. There's no microtransactions left in Shadow of War. Hooray! Do you know what? I'm still considering not buying the game just out of principle.
Well, you know why, right? You know why they've removed everything.
Because they got everything they could out of it.
Yeah, the game's dead, so this is the last-ditch effort to catch a headline.
Yeah, to get more people in and then go,
yeah,
hey,
with the
we've sold more.
tiniest bit of silver lining, and it was like, the people like you who might pick it up, but would definitely not have picked it up with all this shit involved. You know, they might pull some people off the fence. That's it. It's the only reason. It's not because they're being generous or they realize they fucked up.
They're not being good people. They're still Warner
their
Brothers.
business
They're
strategy.
still assholes.
Yeah. They're just trying to ring us.
Exactly.
Don't buy an account. I forbid you.
Maybe I'll get it on G2A or some other shady site then.
Just
I won't. No. Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly the reason they've done it. But the funniest thing about this though is, in this patch, they have they've changed a lot of things about the end game. And if you remember, the end game was particularly unbalanced if you weren't willing to pay for the loot boxes. And, you know, at the time, Warner Brothers was like, no, this is the way the game's designed. It's supposed to be difficult, and it's about player choice. Remember that line?
Choose to buy the loot box.
Yeah. So, as it turns out, that statement was utter bollocks. And the loot boxes did completely undermine the system because they've now rebalanced the end game because you can't use the microtransactions to get ahead and catch up. So they've had to completely rebalance the end game so it's actually fair.
Wow.
This is the funny thing,
dear.
though. We had that thing where they just showed their hand, and now they're having to completely roll all these things back because they went too far. And in doing so, are showing their hand even further because they're just showing off the lies that they made to try and protect themselves in the first place.
Yeah, but you know what's... Just lost my phone. You know what's really sad about this, though? Is that nobody's going... like, the small minority, like you and I, are actually realizing what is actually unfolding and what's happening. But most people won't. They'll just view this headline as...
oh, great, I'll go and buy the game now.
Exactly, and they won't realize that they've doubled back so many times on what they've said, and the fact that they've had to readjust the end game because it's now too hard to progress because you can't cheat or hack your way through loot boxes. That's the sad thing for me, is that it's going to be viewed as a positive, where overall it's just all negative.
Yeah, overall this story can be considered a zero-sum game at best. Still, I do consider it a positive because it's basically the AAA industry have been caught with their pants down, and it's just watching them mop up in possibly like the most ridiculous way possible. Yeah.
And, if you were dying to buy the game and you just couldn't afford it at the time, at least now you can play the game if you can afford it now.
Yeah.
And have it be a reasonable experience, an honest experience.
Yeah, wait until it's like ridiculously sort of dirt cheap, maybe. That's what I might do. Wait until it comes up on a Humble Bundle or something. Other than that, I still kind of... Their way of doing the game in the first place has just made me despise it and like even now they've removed everything. I just don't want to do it because it's the principle of you tried to fuck us over. So why should we pay you money for apologizing for trying to fuck us over?
Yes, Warner Brothers, man.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We know full well what they're like with things like Arkham Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. I got burned with Arkham Knight. That was the last game I ever pre-ordered.
Yep, there we go. Loop it back.
You have one experience with something like that, and then you just like, oh, okay, I'm never going to do that again. Yep. It just takes one experience like that to just go, okay, fine. No, these people are shits.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, they don't care about you.
Absolutely
They're just
not.
a big amorphous company who care only about the money in your wallet and how much of it they can get.
How many fat whales?
So, yes. Anyway, that seems like a pretty good point to wrap up the show. Middle-earth, Shadow of War, no more microtransactions whatsoever. I'm still not going to buy it. I don't think Sully's going to buy it. And fuck 'em, basically.
Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers. Tut-tut.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of the GameCast NewsCast, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, subscribe, or share, whatever you fancy. And our social links are found in the description with a link to our Discord, where you can join in some lovely chat with members of the GameCast community. Thank you very much, Sully, for joining me for this episode.
No problemo.
And I'll hopefully get him back on other things soon. Regardless, coming up on the channel, we will have our, Sully and Mark's Dragon Ball chat at last. That's probably going to happen. We will have news. We will have more episodes of Creative Corner, where I am going to be doing probably a bit more in The Sims before I spin that off into its own little series, maybe. Ooh. And I've also got an idea for a Planet Coaster Creative Corner, because the retro expansion pack came out in the last couple of weeks, so I have some lovely ideas to do with that.
No more euthanizing coasters, or?
No, well, I'm not going to be intentionally killing people with these ones.
Okay. Lovely.
And finally, another little series I might be starting soon. About puzzle games, possibly. We'll see. Anyway, thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
Cheerio.